window. We go to visit the family and the child right away. We find out what that wish is, and we make it happen ASAP, because we never know when the child will pass. And recently, I did one for a 16-year-old girl, and from the day we interviewed her to the day we finished her wish was 30 days. So, and that meant ordering sound equipment and recording studio, portable one, and all that kind of stuff, getting it all here and getting this absolutely wonderful volunteer from the Cirque du Soleil. I want to say his name, Barry Mims, because he put the whole thing together for us. He was absolutely awesome.
How do you hear about the children in most cases?
Most cases is they are referred to us by the administrator in the doctor's office. And all of the doctors, all pediatric doctors in town, they all know who we are and what we do.
So if you're a pediatrician and you have a patient who's likely to die in the short term, then you might refer them.
They would refer them, yes, but also not just die, but as long as that child has a life-threatening condition. A lot of kids that have leukemia, that's very life-threatening. Without treatment, they might pass. The leukemia is very treatable in today's environment with the treatment that they go through, and most children will beat that with good treatment. And I know I had a little boy, Joey, he had leukemia, and the first time I met him, he was bald from leukemia. Well, now Joey is...
From the chemotherapy?
Yeah, from the chemotherapy, yeah. Cute little boy, and now I went to his last chemo party, and he's now 4 or 5 years older and doing great. So, active teenage boy.
What is his wish?
His wish was to go to Disney World, and he and his family did, and they had just a marvelous time. And one of the things about going to either Disneyland or Disney World is we also throw in a bunch of other things, which is cool.
Like if it was Disneyland, they'd get Knott's
Berry Farm, up in Hollywood, maybe Legoland, maybe up in Hollywood. What's the one in Hollywood?
Universal Studios.
Yeah, Universal Studios and so on. So, yeah, it's a package. So it's a wonderful thing. Disneyland gives us a really good deal, but our children and families never wait in line. We have what we call our magic button. It says Make a Wish on it, and or our T-shirts, which is the front of the line. Front of the line. That's right. Don't even go in line. You come around here and you go right in. So, and I love it because they are just treated like royalty, and they get such special treatment. But Disneyland's not the only one that does it. The other places do too. Sure. But it's so wonderful because it gives them that special feeling.
What's most important for us to know about your service to both the Boys and Girl Scouts?
Okay, that goes back a long ways. So when my children were young, my daughter was in Campfire, and we needed a leader. Well, I'm a single mom, and I got to work 40 hours a week, so how am I going to do it? So okay, if we can meet on Saturday, I'll do it. So I had a group of 6 fabulous young girls who stayed with Campfire Girls through high school, and they're still all friends today. And just the close-knit group that they turned out to be. And I'm just really thankful that I got to be a part of their lives in that. My son, then, he needed to be in Boy Scouts. Well, back then, moms weren't supposed to be leaders and stuff. You could do other things. You could make cookies, or you could drive them wherever they needed to go, and so on. And so that's what I did. So, okay, that's what I can do, I'll do it. So that's what we did. We did a lot of volunteering in that way.
Please tell us about your work with seniors.
It's really a variety. Sometimes it's as simple as going to Eileen's house and changing a battery for her. You know, but she needs that. She can't do it for herself.
Like on a smoke detector or something.
Yeah, like the smoke detector or the keyless entry to her garage, or getting something off of a top shelf for her because I banned her from the ladder. You know, 85 years old, you have no business being on a ladder, so that kind of thing. Or it might be that I'm driving someone to UCLA to get some treatment.
That's quite a little drive there.
It's a little drive, but we make it fun. And that way I get to stop and see the grandsons too. So we'll put a little fun in that too. But other things that I do is, as far as seniors, is the gym where I go, we have a large population of what I would call, definitely are seniors, but they come for some of the classes, and they're more geared to a senior, and I assist, and so I can be the assistant. I'm not the paid teacher, but I can assist the teacher that's there and getting them to do their exercise and knowing how to do it correctly and not get hurt, and that's the most important thing, is doing it correctly and not getting. The other thing as far as seniors is that on the Senior Citizens Advisory Board, we do, I'll call it events. So sometimes it might be a health fair, and they'll all be invited. A lot of the invitees will be like in the senior housing community, and those would be invited to a health fair. It might be an event that we put on that teaches them a little bit about healthy eating. We had the culinary school come and do a demonstration of a very simple recipe and how to fix it, and so we've done those kinds of things. And again, I mentioned that I do the laughter yoga for the senior or the adult daycare facilities.
I know you're of service to the community in a number of other ways. Is there one or two of them that you think stand out and bear mentioning?
It's my interest in people, in making us have a better world. In our community, whatever it is that I can do to make it better. If that's helping my friend move, if that's taking my friend to UCLA, if that's helping my grandsons grow, that's a purpose that we can all value.
Why would someone want to serve someone or something other than themselves?
Giving service is my soul. So if someone wants to get that warm feeling of knowing that you did something very special for someone else, that's what you do, is you give service.
Can you give an example of a beginner service project that someone might get involved in that doesn't take a large time or monetary commitment, something that they could get their toesies wet?
One really easy thing to do is to organize a food drive, a canned food drive. You can set a limited amount of time that it's going to be for a week. You can make a location, people can bring in, and we've done this at the gym, and you bring in canned food. I also have an organization that it can go to, other than some of the larger ones. They get a lot. I'm going to, yeah. It's called Jude 22. It is a senior nutrition center. It's down at 9th and Bridget. And they serve like 500 clients a month of low-income seniors that come in there and get kind of an emergency, a few small bags of non-perishable food that will take them through the month. Most of the people live on their Social Security and maybe a little Medicaid, and they're just very low income and very needy for food, nutritious food, and they need all the help they can get. So that's a really simple project that you can conduct, and a very, very worthwhile one. When I talk to people about doing or giving or whatever, and I said, it doesn't have to be big. I don't do big things.
You just do a lot of little things.
I do little things.
All the time.
All the time. And that's what makes a difference to those people that got those 70 cans. I'm sure they were grateful for it. Yeah, and I know I would be. Or whatever. So, but that's the way I was raised. My mother was the coupon queen, because there was 4 of us, and my dad worked and she didn't. And they had one car, and she made do with everything. And she just gave of herself. And I know in my heart that's where it all comes from. It's genetic.
What was the first service project that you worked on in your life that you can remember?
It was when I was a Girl Scout, and so I had to have been in about 5th or 6th grade, and we went to what we called then an old folks home, which now we call them a nursing home or skilled nursing. And we went at Christmas time, and there was a group of us, of course, as Girl Scouts, probably 8, 10 of us, and we sang Christmas carols and for these people. So that was the very first one that I really remember specifically doing as a group project.
Was there a moment in which you had an epiphany when you knew that service was going to be a major aspect of your life? And if so, please describe that for us.
I think I've known that for a long time.
As long as you could remember.
Probably.
You were just little and you knew.
Well, I certainly knew it by the time I had children. And then you start doing volunteering, whether it be the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts or whatever, or thing that you do with kids.
Do you have a particular spiritual practice?
I do have a spiritual practice these days, and it's more in line with yoga.
Please tell us about it.
It's not necessarily a religion. It is not a religion, but it is a practice where I, through postures and meditation and my service, I've found that I am much more respectful of people, much more tolerant of differences of people, and it's more of a softening of the person, me. It's more of a softening.
One of our viewers either didn't grow up in any particular faith tradition, or they were traumatized in their childhood in such a way that it makes it difficult for them to participate in any faith tradition. But they hear people, they heard what you just said, they've heard some of my other interviewees and what they've said, they've heard about a higher power and etc. So they'd like to have a relationship with such a thing, but they're still afraid. They're still, with a big hard shell on them from whatever their trauma is. Is there a non-threatening, low commitment level, beginner spiritual practice that you could recommend?
There is an organization called Still Point, and that's where I would really recommend that they try, because it is non-threatening. It's they do a wonderful work there.
Are they?
They're locally. They're on. I don't have the address, but they're on Sahara.
Google knows their address.
Yes, but they are spiritual, but your own spirituality.
If you knew that you